Dear One Plus God family, as we continue our journey through the Gospel of John, I'm so excited. So please grab your Bible, open your app. We are in John chapter 4, and we're going to pick it up in verse 43, and we're going to finish out this chapter today. So let's start reading John chapter 4, verse 43. After the 2 days he left for Galilee, so that's in the northern parts of Israel, where Jesus grew up. Now Jesus himself had pointed out that the prophet has no honor in his own country. We read that in verse 44. So Jesus points out that, man, there where you work, live and play, it will almost be the hardest there to share the good news. Therefore, that's a good practice place, right? What makes you stronger when you play football? What makes you stronger and better when you play soccer? When the coach is hard on you, right? When you have to practice really hard, and when you tackle difficult sets of exercises, or you're in a chess game, and when you want to get better, what do? You get a stronger opponent, or if you play against a computer, you choose a more difficult level. When things are harder, we get better at it. And so Jesus is not backing off. Jesus is just simply saying, here where I grew up, people will say like, oh, isn't that the little boy that played and made, some toys out of clay and, ran around, and, isn't that little boy, that kid that worked with his father there with the wood and stuff, and now he wants to tell us how we should live our lives. In fact, now he wants to tell us that he is the Messiah, that he's the Savior. Come on, we know this kid, he just grew up there. And perhaps you're battling with that, right? You grow up, and you children being children, and perhaps sometimes you did some stuff that wasn't the best decisions, and even as young adults perhaps you've made some decisions that weren't the wisest. And now you're growing in your faith, and you want to start to share this, and you share it with your loved ones, and you share it with the people where you work, live and play, and then you realize, oh my goodness, but suddenly people go like, but I know you, I know what you did there and said there and so on, and now you want to come and tell me this and that. It will not be easy, but it needs to be done. It will make you stronger, so that, right, you can take the gospel to other places in your state, other places in the country, other places in the world. And what you will find is that the further you go out to share the good news, it will actually become a little easier. So Jesus warns us. He says, do it here. It will not be easy, but it will make you stronger. It will make you better. Verse 45, when he arrived in Galilee, the Galileans welcomed him. They had all seen what he had done in Jerusalem down south in the country, especially at the Passover feast, for they had also been there. Of course, everybody would go there, right? That's a place where the temple is at. That's a place where your faith can be restored, your relationship with God can be restored when you bring your sacrifices. So verse 46, once more he visited Cana in Galilee. Remember, that's where he turned the water into wine, and we looked at that miracle and saw that, wow, there's a whole different meaning to that. You can revisit that in one of our previous sessions. And there was a certain royal official whose son lay sick at Capernaum. So this is important, because this is probably not a Jew, but this is probably one of the Roman officials. And so will Jesus also attend to the needs of those who are not Jews, right? So that question comes into play. And so when this, verse 47, when this man heard that Jesus had arrived in Galilee from Judea, arrived in the north from Judea down south, he went to him and begged him to come and heal his son, who was close to death. All the miracles that we read about in the Gospel of John, those that John specifically choose to share with us, are all these kind of big miracles, right? This child is not just sick, this child is close to dying, and the purpose of sharing these bigger miracles is so that you and I can see clearly who Jesus is. Remember, that's the one big question that the Gospel of John wants to answer. Who is Jesus. And the big miracles helps us to see that clearly, and Jesus kind of plays into that in verse 48 when he says, unless you people see miraculous signs and wonders, Jesus told him, you will never believe. So the royal official kind of accepts that, right? And he says, sir, come down before my child dies. And Jesus replied, you may go, your son will live. The man took Jesus at his word and departed. That is precious. The man does not demand, Jesus, come with me. The man is not like, oh my goodness, I'm not sure. Jesus said this, I'm just not sure if I can trust him. But if I have Jesus with me, and I get to my son and he's still sick, then at least I still have Jesus, right? His words perhaps did not work, but at least I have Jesus, and he can kind of respectfully say, take another shot at it, right? Try it again, say it again. Perhaps then his child will be healed. Can I just pause here and challenge you with this today? Do you still take Jesus at his word? When you pray, when you cry out to God, when you read in his word, and when he brings you this message through an encouraging psalm, or or just saying it to you through his spirit, in your heart, in your soul, you feel that he's sharing with you, it will be okay. I got this. I created this. I died for you. I gave the Spirit to live in you. You will be okay. This thing that you are facing, you will be able to handle this, because I'm handling it with you. You know, when Jesus brings you that assurance, is it enough that he says it? Do you take him on his word immediately? Are you there in your faith? And if you are not, I want to encourage you, please get there. This is a Roman official. He's not even part of the Jewish faith. He didn't get everything that the Jews got. He just heard about Jesus. You and me, many of us, we've been in this journey like the Jews, right? We've been in this journey about Jesus and who he is and what he has done. Some of us for decades now. Let us take him at his word. When he says, I will be with you today. No matter what happens to you, even if you suffer, I will be with you. No matter what you need to face, you will get okay. You will get out of this okay at the other end of it. Why? Because I am not leaving you so that you deal with this by yourself. No. I am going through this with you. I will either be in front of you protecting you, or I will be carrying you, or I will be above or behind or below you, but I will be with you. You and I, John 17, right? We are one. I am in you and you are in me. We are together. We are in partnership. We are in the closest possible relationship that you can imagine. Take me at my word. How precious would it be if we could believe before the miracle, if we could believe before we actually see how the answer unfolds that Jesus is giving us, how Jesus is helping us before it actually happens, just by taking him in at his word. I am going to help you. I am going to make this better. I am going to pull you through this. How amazing would it be if we would just live this faith in a way that this Roman official did right here. He just turns around and he goes home, takes Jesus at his word. He has not seen the miracle yet. He does not know yet if it actually happens, but he's willing to continue with his life, taking Jesus at his word. That is precious. That is precious. And so we read in verse 51, while he was still on his way, his servants met him with the news that his boy was living, of course, right? And when he inquired to the time when his son got better, they said to him, no surprise there, right? The fever left him yesterday at the 7th hour. That's around 1 p.m. in the afternoon. And then the father realized that this was the exact time at which Jesus had said to him, your son will live. I always say, friends, nobody puts it together like God, right? Of course it was at the exact hour. Yet the man did not know it for sure when he left Jesus. Again, can we take Jesus at his word, knowing that what he says has power, right? He was there right from the beginning, right before creation. His word is powerful. When God speaks, Father, Son, and Spirit, when God speaks everything into creation, that God is your God. That Jesus is your Jesus. That's the one who you put your faith in. His words has power. Let's take him on his word when he says to you, I will be with you. I will be with you. This thing that you are facing, I will face it with you. And I will pull you through. Either heal it, take it away, carry you through it. But we will get through this. All you need to do is acknowledge me for who I am. Whether you see the results right now or not, believe in me for who I am. I am Jesus, Son of God, God himself, who loves you to the point where I died for you. The story doesn't end there. When the Father realizes this, he and all his household believed. This was the second miraculous sign that Jesus performed, having come from Judea to Galilee. Verse 53, the end of it. So he and all his household believed. May what you and I encounter and learn as fathers and mothers, as grandfathers, as grandmothers about Jesus be so powerful. May we believe it so wholeheartedly. May we share it so passionately, who Jesus is, what he has done in our lives, that our children, our grandchildren, our friends will come to faith too. May who Jesus is, what he has done, be so powerfully present in our lives that we share it with so much passion that the people's lives around us also change, not only in this world but forever, because they encounter the living Lord, put their faith in him so that they can have life forever, a life that has purpose and meaning. Thank you so much, dear friends. God bless. That's the end of John chapter 4. Looking forward to tackle chapter 5 with you next time.